All right, Mr. Brown, you're live, going right now. So we're going to see how many people join and just answer the questions that you want.
All right.
We are a one-to-one technology lab. Our kids all have laptops, and these are 8th grade students. So just tell us what it is, the project that they're doing. You probably have to speak up a little bit because the kids are so busy working.
They're working on the 1920s, creating a skit from the 1920s. Some kids are working on prohibition, some are working on the impact that the Ku Klux Klan had, and some are talking about women's suffrage. So they're all just being creative. I gave them the basics, what they needed to do, and just took the ball rolling, using their creative juices to make a great product.
And they love your tie, man.
Thank you. You should see the socks.
Yeah, so one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to block users who are using inappropriate language. Because this isn't the kind of venue for that. This is an educational learning experience. So we want to learn from each other. If you can't contribute to the learning, don't contribute. Keep your mouth shut on the other side. And let's make it happen because we have great teachers. Thanks for the props, man.
Hey, no problem. Thank you.
So, tell us more about what it is that you're doing.
Okay, we just began our unit last week on World War I and the Great Depression. And as I told the kids, we were getting back to our roots of when we were displaced at the beginning of the school year where we didn't have this much technology. And the kids, they really just grasped that and just learning to use their creative juices. So I decided to go back toward the back half of the year, less technology, more of their creative juices to make the learning engaging and fun for them. And actually, they were the ones who said, hey, Mr. Brown, can we do what we used to do to make it fun? Just with the technology, it's cool, but it's boring. So to me, I listen to them, my consumers, and say, okay, if I want them to continue to be engaged and learn and take away, let me listen to them, made a happy medium. And this is what we have, young people working together, talking educationally, not about, oh, I hate school, but hey, I'm loving school. I can't wait to come back. Even created a fictitious high school, USA High School, to talk about the Spanish-American War. And the kids are really engaged, and they still remember that piece of knowledge that they probably never thought that they could hold on to.
So some of the questions are, how do kids use social studies? What do they gain from learning social studies? And then what projects do they do in your classroom?
How they use social studies is we learn history, so now we can relate it to the present. Because a lot of things that we learned, or they learned, they actually see how it's revolving. With our last section with the Industrial Revolution, with big business today, how it monopolized it, they actually saw that, hey, this just didn't come out of thin air. It happened then. And so they're seeing how the history circle is repeating itself. And projects that they have done, they've even gone into Wilson, their community, to learn about the history of certain places, historical figures, to understand how it all plays a part into their well-being, to their history, and they're being a part of history.
So when you guys have Black History Month, what Black History components did you guys study?
We learned about not only the usual, but we took it a step further. We learned about Martin Luther King, and that was the time that the movie Selma was out. And with that being out, the kids actually watched it as an 8th grade. And we had some real tough conversation, crucial conversation about it, to let everybody know that, hey, it wasn't always that just because a person is white, they just like a black person. We all work together, look at yourselves. And that helped us, and also talking about the melting pot of America, asking everyone whether they derive from. And one activity that we did, with this being a new school, everyone came from a different school, similar to immigrants coming to America. Wilson Prep was our America. You know, we're here at this melting pot to learn from each other. And now you see that relationships that they made to be able to do the work that they're doing.
So one of the questions was, do you teach economics in here, in your social studies class? Do you touch on economics?
I touch on it some. I'm dealing with the stock market, which we're actually about to get into.
Because of the 1920s and 30s?
Because of the 1920s and 30s, because of the stock market crash. But they also tied in. And one activity that I want to do with them is to have them look at the stock market and actually fictitiously purchase some stock and keep track of it for like a week or so to see how it really is. And when you lose that money, then you can see why those people would jump into their desk, committing suicide and things of that nature in the 20s. But even now, how people are really trying to hold on to that almighty dollar.
Okay. All right. So let's go around and just tell us what some of these kids are working on, or they can tell us what they're working on. What are you guys working on here?
Mobsters. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a small little skit about mobsters. Me and him are two mobsters, and is she a mobster or are we like?
She's like a business owner.
Yeah, she's the business owner.
And what era is this?
The Roaring Twenties.
The Roaring Twenties. Okay, social studies class. Okay, so what are you guys doing?
So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go up, we're performing a skit, and
We already wrote it down.
yeah, we've written it down. She's got it right there.
And so you guys are on your Acer Chrome, and you're creating your own skits.
Yes.
And this is just like some slang they used some mobsters used in the Roaring Twenties. Just looking at this.
So you guys are investigating what kind of slang they use in the
Yeah.
20s.
So when we
it's not the same as what you guys use.
Yeah, no, it's kind of weird. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
What are you guys working on here?
We are working on a skit in the 1920s where two young ladies they're thrown to buy an ad from a mobster, aka Alan, and we're just creating props, I guess, right now, and the storyline behind it. We're going with the country film.
So what's this item right here? What is this?
This is an ashtray, and Alan made this. It's something where he blows in the cigar, and it's an ashtray.
Oh, so you made props. Okay.
Yeah. Props.
So beyond just using the computers, you're making your actual own props.
Yeah, we're making
Yeah.
a script.
You're making a script as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, you guys are working on.
For our skit, we're playing poker because I'm a mobster or a gangster, and we're gambling illegally, and that's what usually like gangsters do.
So back in the 20s, gambling was illegal. And so you guys
Yeah.
are making your own poker chips.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, great question. Let me ask about the learning targets. So the question is, how are the kids involved in the learning targets that they have that you set for them?
They're involved. We talk about it, and first of all, I check their knowledge of what was going on with the learning target, and then they give me their KWL, their information, what they know. That way, I know how to target and say, let me kind of script it to where at the end we always start. Well, let me start over. At the beginning, we always start with our focus, which is World War II, Great Depression. But we always start with our essential question. I go over the essential question, check for background knowledge, and then if the background knowledge is low, then I'll do a pre-activity for that, as I did with the 20s, showing them what the 20s was about. And then as I gave them this assignment, I told them in the assignment, it all has to come back to our essential question. And once I see their assessment, which would be their skit, then I'll be able to know that, hey, they answered this essential question.
And you're getting some great love here, man. People are saying that they love this, they love the interview, they love the liveness, they love all the content that you're providing. So I just want to make sure.
Okay.
People are saying that you're the greatest teacher ever.
Well, thank you. I tried. I tried.
Okay, I'll ask the kids. Hey guys, so the question is, are you inspired by any specific? Oh, you guys aren't mobsters, are you?
No.
No, okay. This is not the mobster group. We'll roll around here to the mobster group. Hey guys, are you inspired by any specific mobsters?
No, we're just doing our own thing.
You're just creating your own characters, your own fictional characters? Okay, so it seems like they're learning the content and creating their own fictional characters based off of those. Let me ask these guys, are you guys inspired by any specific mobsters? Or are there any mobsters that you did research on?
Al Capone.
Al Capone?
There's
Okay.
a lot of TV movies we used
Yeah.
to see.
Okay, so TV movies and stuff?
Yeah, so he was like one we did some research on about like the mobster to get more of a view of the mobster world because
Okay.
Al Capone, they talked about him so much. So yeah, Al Capone.
Okay, so that's a great knowledge base. Excellent. And what's really great about this is kids are either using prior content knowledge or creating their own characters, fictional characters about this. And what are you guys working on over here?
We're working on a 1920 skit about the KKK and black people, African Americans, and we're trying to like make a skit for everybody because we're working with these two groups. So we're trying to like combine it together, and we're supposed to like explain to the whole class what the KKK is.
Okay, excellent. All right.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any background knowledge about that? Did you learn about that this year, or is it something else that you heard?
Yes, we just learned about it because Mr. Brown just showed us what it was about. So now we got to like try to explain it to see if we could understand it and other people could understand it as well.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right, Mr. Brown. Any parting shots that you want to give out?
Only thing I would tell anybody, any educator is be a facilitator and let the kids have fun with learning. Because my thing is this: saving a child is not an option. We must do it. And my thing is, if they're not going home tired, then we go home tired. We're not doing our job. Everyone should be exhausted from learning and having fun.
Excellent. Thanks a lot. All right, guys, we're gonna come back another day and hopefully another period. Great teaching, what they're saying. I'll give you a high five for that.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. Hello, future America educators.